So here we are. Good professional setup now.
I know, this is going to be real interesting for us.
It's like, I think the black felt on the table makes it look good and clean.
Yeah. I mean, that was my main concern when I felt it a bit of bored was, does it look good? Does it look professional?
Does it look like, a
coffee
table?
Stars and Moons pattern just wasn't
that wasn't a studio
choice.
look. We've got a good studio look now. We've got some proper mics. Yep. We're terrified because we don't know anything about any of this gear.
No. I have very little experience with any of this.
Yeah, all the gear, no idea.
Yeah.
Hopefully, you can hear this.
Hopefully. Can anybody hear this?
Let's find out by the medium of watching some cartoons and talking bollocks about them.
Let's do that.
Hello and welcome back to the Space Jam Continuum, the show where we try to make a cohesive cinematic universe out of something that was never meant to be one. I'm Chris McLennan.
I'm Carl Noble.
And he's got baby blood.
I have got baby blood.
What are you talking about?
Right, well...
Doctors have told him he has baby's blood.
Well, a nurse. It wasn't a doctor. It was... I went to donate blood today. And, you do kind of your pre-medical check and all of that sort of stuff before you donate. And she was like, oh, you're down for baby blood. And I was like... Sorry, what?
Did you say, I'm not down for baby blood? You can't be saying that.
No, I was
Cal Noble's down for baby blood. Pass it on.
I was just like, oh, so what, is it down to like my blood group? Because I'm all negative, so I know mine's like universal blood donor. And I thought, oh, okay, so maybe they just like earmarking it for donation to babies and like neonatal stuff. But no, apparently it's not just to do with that, because anybody can donate for baby's blood. It's to do with I've got the right type of antibodies in my blood and all of that. So not only have I got like, blood that everyone can use, it's also just really full of nutrients. It's very nutritious
kind of like
blood.
A superpower.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if it's going to help me at any point, but it means I've probably got good, I don't know, immune system, maybe? I don't know. I've got blood that's good for babies.
that's all we know.
Yeah. All I know is it's good for babies.
Well, you learn something new every day.
And I did.
Sometimes you waste it on discovering that you have baby's blood.
Well, I mean, it's not the blood of a baby. I don't go around harvesting babies.
Well, you say that.
I do. I just did.
But I don't see
any other way. It is the first time I've ever said that, though.
That you would get baby blood.
No, well, no, that's true. Unless
you're
maybe
you're a 32-year-old man.
Yeah, unless my blood, like, dies... like daily. Well, I mean, it does.
And it's like born again.
Yeah, but I mean, everyone's blood does that. Well, no, I mean, not daily, but there's a cycle. You haven't got like 30-year-old blood running around your veins.
Maybe they say that to everyone. Maybe she's trying to be nice.
Got baby blood. No, I've seen a marker special thing and it said neonatal on it. So,
well, there you go.
I've never seen that before.
All right. Well, we've learned our thing for the day, so we probably won't learn anything from the next 5 cartoons. But let's press on.
Let's try.
Let's give it a go.
Let's try a bit.
What have we got coming up?
Well, actually, this one is going to be interesting. So it's TikTok Tuckered. It's Daffy Duck and Porky Pig. Now, if you have a little look in the old column there, it says it's a colour remake of Porky's Bad Time Story, which was a Gabby Goat one.
Gabby Goat. So is he back? Because we haven't seen Gabby Goat since he got rich off their oil venture back in 1938.
No, but he's not listed. I think what they've done is they've remade the kind of kind of staged it. But rather than Gabby Goat, we've got Daffy Duck. Now I think
they're trying to erase a lot of Porky's past.
Well, yeah, I'm thinking what they're trying to do is they're trying to kind of like integrate the new Porky into like
some classics.
Into the classics by just redoing it. But they can't find Gabby, or Gabby's refusing to work with the new Porky.
It's possible, but we haven't seen Gabby had refused to work with the old Porky.
Well, yeah.
It would seem, anyway.
But
they certainly weren't friends anymore.
Like maybe he's just had enough of being on, I tell you, maybe he's just like, I make too much money. I need to keep a quiet life.
Let's find out. Let's watch TikTok Tuckered.
Yeah.
From April 8th, 1944.
Let's do that.
For something that was virtually the same as a previous cartoon we've watched, that was actually surprisingly informative.
Yeah, it was quite interesting because like it very clearly staged.
Yeah, and you were right. They've basically bunged Daffy in instead of Gabby Goat. Yeah. And largely the arc of it's the same. So Porky and Daffy are late for work.
Yeah.
They get told that if they're late again, they'll be fired.
Yeah.
So they go home and try to get a proper night's sleep, but basically everything in their house is a complete dickhead. The blinds are a dickhead.
Yeah.
Like, the roof's leaking. The alarm clock itself is a dickhead.
Yeah. But this time around, the moon wasn't a dickhead.
The moon wasn't a dickhead.
But Daffy shot it anyway.
Did murder it.
He did.
Because the blind was being a dickhead and it was shining in, and so he shot the moon. Yeah. Luckily, this is staged, so we're presuming there is still a moon in the Tooniverse. Yeah.
I mean, we presume there's always been a moon.
Or that there never was a moon.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well, no, because there was a moon in the original TikTok Tuckered. So unless something's happened to that moon, then anyway, we can only assume that it's still there.
Yeah.
But in this one, Daffy did shoot it, it popped and fell behind the horizon.
Yeah. But there's a lot of interesting shifts in attitude since, I think it was 1938, the original one.
Yeah.
But there's quite a lot of shifts in attitude. So, like, their boss is a human now.
Yep. Yeah, no, not a dog.
Now, previously, there was a demarcation line. Humans weren't in the city.
No,
dogs were in all the positions of power. So that's a lot's changed there in 10 years.
Yeah.
Because previously, a human wouldn't even been allowed to work in the city.
No. And
now it's the boss of
well, it was a fly-by-night aircraft.
Yeah. It used to be Peter Piper's Pickled Peppers, or
I believe
something along those lines.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that's interesting. It means at some point, and we've seen it slowly start to happen, like humans mixing in, but I didn't realise it had come quite as far as it had.
I'm thinking it's quite largely to do with the war, though. Like, I think they're realising that those differences shouldn't really be there anymore. You know, it's just like
they've got bigger problems.
Yeah, we're fighting a common enemy here. We need to get rid of this pointless aggression between each other. So now, humans are allowed to hold more positions. And maybe it's because a lot of the kind of more important tunes are off fighting.
Maybe. Yeah, dogs of war.
Yeah, like maybe that is actually it. Maybe all the dogs are being called up to be, I don't know, generals, majors.
Maybe, yeah. They're applying their natural leadership skill. Their
dog-headedness.
Yeah, absolutely. They're applying that to war. More warlike roles. So that's a difference. We think Porky's been replaced now.
Yes. Yeah.
With either a fifth Porky, or they went to Mexico and got Porky the fourth back.
Yeah.
So we think what's happening here is that they're trying to Mandela effect everyone. Like, everyone remembers it being Porky and Gabby Goat. They are trying to erase major parts of Porky's past. So when people go, "Oh, that Bad Time," was it called Bad Time Story?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I remember that. It was Gabby Goat. They were late for work. They were doing that. And now they've basically made the same cartoon again.
Yeah.
So people misremember it. And when shown it, they go, "No, sure, it's Gabby Goat." And then they show them this one. They go, "Well, that's definitely the cartoon I remember."
Yeah. Maybe it was
always Daffy.
Yeah.
It's like Shazam. It's like there was never a genie film with Cedric the Entertainer in called Shazam, but everyone's convinced there was. But there was one with Shaquille O'Neal called Kazam.
I don't think I've seen that.
I wouldn't.
Okay. I'll try my best not
although, I don't know, it would be kind of in the same vibe as stuff we always do.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. What I did find interesting about this was it felt staged.
It did.
The way they were communicating, it was like they were reciting lines.
It was constantly just feed line.
It was like, read the cue cards. Just read the cue cards.
Yeah. We always knew Porky the Fourth was a less able, improvisational performer than Porky the Third.
Yeah.
But this really felt like they were just going through the motions.
Yeah. But there again, I think it's hard to kind of try and reenact something which was real life and make it look natural.
Yeah.
As it
it's like playing yourself is really hard.
Yes.
Like if someone goes, "Play you," the character of you, it's like, that's not easy.
Yeah. No, I can't do that.
Because you have an ideal of what you are like.
Yeah, but it's inevitably wrong.
Yeah, and especially in a role like Porky Pig, where it's like, you are Porky Pig, you're playing yourself, but you're not, because you're actually replacing the previous Porky Pig, but you are him.
You have to play this Porky.
and you have
God.
to pretend to be him all the time.
Yeah. It's
You
your
are
entire
him
life. Yeah.
now.
It's a lifestyle change.
Yeah, absolutely. Because one thing I noticed in the previous one, the one where they got imprisoned by the hotel manager, and they graffitied on the walls, is also it had Petunia with a heart. So they're trying to bring that back.
They are.
Like there's all kinds going on. Like they're really just trying to just reset, just erase a certain period of.
Yeah, they're trying to new 52
history.
Porky.
They are. They're the new one.
Yeah, new one.
Yeah.
Okay.
Also, he murders the clock in the end. Now, this is the first time we've seen like a stance on what's acceptable to do to the sentient objects.
Yeah,
It's
that's
like
true.
because like normally they've sort of grappled with them,
Yeah.
like the dickhead blind and things like that. But it's the first time where, especially as we know it's staged and we know it's trying to portray an agenda and a message.
Yes.
It's interesting that it's basically saying, by the way, if an object becomes sentient and it's being a dickhead, it's perfectly acceptable to just kill it.
Well, I mean, I suppose maybe it's that maybe they're breaking down the difference between sentient animals and sentient objects.
Sure,
because like it's okay for them to kill sentient animals. They don't. They don't.
And
seem
I guess
to have a
we've
qualm
never
about
seen
that.
like we've seen objects do intelligent stuff.
Yeah.
But we've never seen them like talk.
No, like this one when he shot it developed a face.
Yeah.
And then fell. I mean, it was a
I
stage gunshot.
But what I like is it developed a face. Like I like the fact that they're hiding in plain sight. They can just shapeshift into a thing. But like, caught out off guard, it's like, oh god, it was a tiny clock, man.
Yeah. Oh, but maybe it was never an item. Maybe it was like
Some sort of changeling.
yeah,
like a shapeshifter, like
or just something in a costume.
Just a tiny man.
In a clock. Well, not a tiny man. But
A mouse in a clock
in a
costume.
clock. Well, why not?
What, just hanging out.
Well, no, he's not hanging out. He's part of
Doing
the set,
job. He's
isn't
doing
he?
the job of
Yeah,
clock.
because I mean the thing is
So you reckon when they
not-
need a clock in a performance, they get a tiny mouse
especially-
to dress up as a clock and stand about?
if they wanted to be sentient, yes. If they wanted to act, if they wanted to do a thing, because they can't just go
Because they can't really control the sentient object.
No,
so it's not going to comply.
Yeah. So if you want a clock that's going to get shot and then go, oh, I'm wounded, and then fall over, well, you can't just put a clock there because that's not going to work, is it?
The special effects haven't come that far.
No.
Because they don't really need them. Maybe
No,
nothing's
they don't.
gone into dedeveloping special effects in the
well, why
Tooners.
would it?
Because they don't need them. Because they've got superpowers.
Yeah, they've got mad shit going on. So I'm thinking that if it's not a clock that has the ability to develop a face, then it's a creature, whatever animal they wanted, in a clock costume.
That's fair enough. I thought it was ridiculous when you first said it.
But here we are.
You've talked me round.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, that seems to be the vein of pretty much most of this podcast. I say something which sounds ridiculous, and then I always manage to talk you around.
Well, that or I break.
Well, that
Can't
or you
speak
break, yeah.
anymore.
Yeah.
They're the two the two paths it tends to take. So we've known this next cartoon is a long time coming,
Yeah.
and unfortunately, it's not one of the censored 11.
No.
But although its title very much suggests to us that it probably should be. It's no longer shown on American television due to World War II ethnic stereotyping of Japanese people.
Yeah, I wonder what that's going to be about. Then.
So I guess we just have to get on with it because it's not a censored 11 one.
It's not.
It pains me to say that it's time to watch Bugs Bunny Nips the Nips. And I really, really hope it's just about him pinching people's nipples.
Oh, that would be great.
Because that would be such a relief.
It is.
Because this I also doubt it is.
But wouldn't that be a fun
we'll go in
episode?
hoping. So if you really want to join us in watching something that is unfortunately called Bugs Bunny Nips the Nips from April 22nd, 1944.
It's going to be horrible, mate.
Well then.
Yeah, we watched it.
I mean, we knew pretty much what we were getting in for there.
Yeah. It wasn't.
It wasn't surprising, but that doesn't make it less disappointing.
No, I always held Bugs in higher regard than that. I mean, the thing is, like, we don't know what point of in his timeline this is. So hopefully he's had time to learn from his mistakes, and it's very possible that we see a more...
Yeah, I think so. I think this is an early Bugs. Because, okay, so basically, through some misadventure or another, Bugs starts off floating in the middle of the sea in a crate.
Yeah.
He sees land, he swims over there, turns out it's Japan. He gets into a sort of to-do with a Japanese soldier who recognises him from cartoons, which leads us to believe that these are soldiers from our side of the portal that have been sent into the Tooniverse.
Yes.
In a similar way to Hitler went and did a rally in the Tooniverse, presumably like Nuremberg, but the Tooniverse,
yes,
Nuremberg. So it's very much confirmed to me that there is a third theatre of war. Like, there's the European theatre, you've got the Pacific theatre, and there's also like a Tooniversal theatre.
Yeah.
But yeah, this soldier recognises him as Bugs Bunny. They have, the usual sort of to-do, like, and yeah, it's really racist.
It is. At first, I
get it. It was a time of war.
Yeah, like at first, I mean, obviously the depiction of the Japanese soldier was, quite stereotypical, of that time period. But what I wasn't overly sure about is Bugs wasn't really being particularly racist up until about halfway through the episode. Because he was just reacting to the situation the same way as he reacted to Elmer, the same way he reacted to Porky. He just causes a nuisance. Whereas halfway through the episode, he sees a Japanese boat coming and they're all getting onto the island, and he decides to start handing out chalk ices with grenades in them.
Yeah.
And while he's handing them out, he's throwing out the racial slurs.
Going like, one for you, monkey face, one for you, slanty eyes.
Yeah, and it's just like, at that point I was like, oh, for crying out loud. Like, because if he'd got through without being particularly racist, I'd say, oh, okay, well, maybe it's the cartoon itself that is racist, and Bugs is just reacting the way Bugs reacts to everything, which is dress up as a lady, punch it, kick it.
He did dress up as a lady.
Yeah, exactly. He didn't kiss the guy, though.
But he was also, like, it was the pride he was taking in
the killing.
Like, he was putting painting a little Japanese flag
for
on
everyone
he killed.
Yeah. But there again, I mean, like, Superman was used in war.
But he had killed one, and then he had a sumo wrestle with another one who he thought he dealt with, but then the guy undid that.
Yeah.
And then he redid that. So there was 2 killed there.
Yeah.
And then he handed out the grenade chalk ices, and then we see him in the forest, and on screen, and like, we don't know how much off screen, like, just counting ones that were unobscured flags on the trees, it was 58 plus the other 2. So he's killed 60 people.
Yes.
In that time frame we just watched.
Chalk ice grenades. Who'd have thought it?
Well, Bugs would have thought it.
Yeah.
And he did.
Well, that's the thing.
That's the problem.
Yeah, it's... I don't know. It's an interesting one, because, like I say, like, we know in DC, Superman he fights for America.
Yeah.
In Marvel, Captain America fights for America.
Yeah.
So, is this kind of their Captain America? Is this their Superman? Have the Americans, for this Tooniverse, have they recruited Bugs?
Well, Bugs is definitely, like,
he sees
a Toon
himself,
American.
Yeah, he sees himself as an American rather than...
Like, I get it, it's a time of war.
Yeah.
It's just the revelling in it that I'm a bit like, this is a bit much. Because, like, Captain America, he's never, like Jerry Scum.
No, but, like, he does kind of... I mean, he's, like, to be honest, like, Captain America's more of a scalpel than he is just a hammer, really, isn't he? Whereas Bugs is a hammer.
But, like, Superman and Captain America, like, neither of them were like, take that, you sausage munching kraut fuck.
They might have been. I mean, I haven't really seen much of that era of the Superman or that era of the Captain America stuff. They very well might have.
The thing is, like, it doesn't seem to me like Bugs is... Like, Captain America certainly is meant to be a symbol of why America's the good one.
Yeah.
Whereas
I
Superman, I don't know, like, he's not from here. He has his own customs.
He's not from here, no.
still not entirely sure whether that's a suit or his skin a lot of the time.
What, with Superman?
Well, he has the suit, right?
Yeah.
And then, I know, there's weird things he does with the suit past, like, the first movie. Like, he just, like, throws, like, a weird Superman symbol off it in the second one, and it captures a man. And it's like, is that an alien power? Did your suit always have this power? If someone else was running the suit, could they use that power?
Could they take off?
If the suit has powers, then what's all the stuff about Earth's yellow? Let's not get sidetracked into Superman.
No. There's probably another podcast out there that does probably this exact same thing. Yeah, they're getting deep into the DC side of it.
But yeah, I mean, I think the most interesting thing to take from Bugs Bunny Nips the Nips is that there's a confirmed third theatre of the Second World War.
Yes. And is that going to be used to try and access the American portal to basically use it
I guess there's
as
that
an
African
invasion?
theatre as well, but like, you know. But yeah, so there's an extra theatre that no one's thinking about.
No.
And it's accessed from all those, because there's a European Universal Theatre of War.
There is.
And there's a Japanese Pacific Universal Theatre of War. It's like, it's all panning out very differently there, but they're coming from our world. The Tooniverse has been invaded at this point.
Yeah, wholeheartedly, yeah. And I mean, maybe that's why it's more and more okay for humans to be about, because they're just seeing a bigger influx of humans.
Maybe.
Like even in America, I reckon, they're seeing a bigger influx of humans.
But do you think all the humans that were in the Tooniverse were humans here first? Because there's definite distinction between when it's clearly meant to be a human.
Yeah.
No, and a toon human.
I don't think all the humans that existed. I mean, maybe originally, like way back when.
Yeah, but there's a lot that are on the sort of Elmer level that weren't eggheads. They're on the Elmer level. That are clearly toon humans.
Yeah,
whereas
I think they're descended from toon, kind of toon humans.
Grandma's going to be an interesting one because she's quite normal, and apart from like normal toon wise, like every other toon is just like doing some weird job to do with its specific body type, or just like muddling by. Whereas like Grandma's like she works at Lockheed. She does. It's like very I don't know. It's very our world type.
Yeah, I mean, like possibly Grandma is from our world.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I'm thinking maybe Grandma is from our world, but she's like because we haven't seen her yet.
Plant.
We haven't seen Grandma yet.
No, we haven't.
We know she's about.
Yeah, we know of her,
and we know she's
working
swing shifts at Lockheed.
I'm thinking Grandma's a code name.
Yeah, I reckon so.
Like, where's Grandma?
Yeah,
you don't need to know where Grandma is.
Yeah, she'll have like a proper like agent something type of name, and then it's just like it's just that's what they call her on the radio.
Yeah. Well, there you go.
But yeah, not like it's an interesting thing. I'm interested to see how it unfolds. Although we are kind of running out of war now. Like we're mid 1944.
Yeah,
like we're just about to hit May, and we've like we've gotten through the war, and it's only started to materialize properly now. But then again, it's similar to like Americans getting involved in the war.
Yeah,
it's like it's far-reaching. It makes sense that it's kind of manifesting properly this late. It's like. Then America got involved, then the cartoons got involved. Yeah, it makes sense.
Yeah, no.
I hope we don't see too much more of it, though, because it makes me a bit sad.
It does.
Like,
I mean,
I'm going to have to look at Bugs in terms of, like, he's killed at least 60 people.
Yeah, he did that.
Also, it's his early Bugs, because he seems to be aware that he has some powers digging and underground.
Yeah,
but
he
didn't just leave Japan.
No, like he was stuck on that island by all accounts.
Oh, we do know though that it means he can't hold his breath for an infinite amount of time,
and he can't deal with the pressure of going deep underwater.
Yeah, maybe it's
it's
one of those two things.
So
something was stopping him just sinking in the ocean, like a lot of the toons we see probably would just do.
Maybe he's just epically buoyant. Maybe he just can't sink.
Yeah, but then he wouldn't be stuck in Japan, would he? He'd just swim.
Yeah, but I mean that's a long way.
But then I guess the sharks and stuff.
Yeah, he
doesn't want anything to do with that.
He's not.
He's a tasty rabbit.
I think he's immortal in the same way that like lobsters are immortal.
And Santa.
Yeah.
The ancient lobster.
Yeah, the old ancient lobster.
Shall we move on?
I think we should.
Okay, so the next one up is called Swooner Crooner. It's a Porky number because it's an Academy Award nominee.
Yeah, interesting.
So, like, they're really pushing for this new Porky. It's just like, come on, do us a cheeky backhander over in the real world. Just
put it as a nominee. I don't have to win.
Just nominate Porky Pig.
Yeah.
Just so everyone is somewhat enamoured with this new Porky Pig.
Yes.
Like, because we really need some help here.
We need
it's a dark time in our Tooniversal history we're trying to erase. So let's watch Swooner Crooner from May the 6th, 1944. See what it's all about.
Let's watch it.
Before moving on, though, we should probably take a look in the Porky Piggy Bank.
I think it's probably a good idea.
All right, let's do that then.
Go give it a rattle.
Right, so first up, just want to say thank you for listening to the podcast and being part of this stupid venture.
At least we're not doing it on our own. But I mean, we are doing it. It feels like other people are with us.
Yeah, it helps to talk it out. If we were just watching it and just thinking about how
it all fits together.
How it all fits together, it would be a bad podcast.
Yeah.
Because it would be just
us thinking.
It's just a silent.
The silent podcast. No, well.
But yeah, we make the Space Jam Continuum for free.
Yeah.
And we're going to continue to do so. So don't you worry about that. The thing is that there's just little things that do cost us to maintain.
Yeah,
and
a little bit.
Rob over at Kaiju keeps us, in hosting.
Yeah,
and
it's very, very kind of him.
And keeps our presence about. But we could do with a little help.
Yeah.
So we've set up a Patreon page over on kaiju.fm, which is our podcast network. And we'd appreciate if you'd go over there and take a look. You just need to go to kaiju.fm and click support us. And just consider maybe chucking even $1 a month our way. That means if you only listen to us, you're getting an episode for 25 cents.
It's a bargain.
And there's a bunch of other shows on there as well. There's Law Masters, there's a Prestige, there's a couple of roleplay podcasts up and coming. So, yeah, go and take a look. And go and take a look at those other shows as well, because they're good.
They are. They're definitely well worth listening to.
Yeah. Additionally, if you don't want to do that, there's other ways you can help us out. Yeah. Go and give us a review on iTunes.
Yeah, rating the podcast.
Rating the podcast
is a good one.
Yeah, wherever you listen to it. It just helps our visibility a bit. And apart from that, just tell people.
Yeah, get involved in this this social media thing.
Because we're really bad about it.
We are. So it would help if somebody else could really just take care of that bit for us.
But I looked the other week, and I think there was an 11-episode gap where I forgot to say anything on the Twitter.
Yeah. I mean, the thing is, it's not just you forgetting; it's also me. But I mean, I'm terrible at social media.
Well, I think we both are.
Yeah,
I'm trying to be good about it now.
Yeah, me too.
Try and keep you up to date. The other thing I'd like to talk about is what we're doing for our first birthday as a podcast.
Yeah, it's going to be exciting.
So we realised that come our first birthday as a podcast, we will be in 1947 in the Tooniverse.
Yeah.
Now, although it came out in 1988, Who Framed Roger Rabbit is set in 1947.
It is.
So we're going to do a special.
Yeah.
With Who Framed Roger Rabbit, but it's going to be a show with a difference. We've hired out a cinema. Yeah. And you guys are going to be able to come. We'll talk a bit about where we've got to so far. We're just going to screen Who Framed Roger Rabbit for your pleasure. And then we're going to live record a podcast, and you guys can get involved and
stand up, ask you questions.
Yeah, get involved with the discussion. Really pitch some theories our way. So if you fancy coming to that, it's going to be on the 13th of June at the Pavilion in Reading, which is a big old cinema from the which is now a sort of community centre, but they've still got a cinema room in there.
Yeah.
So
it's going to be real nice. The room looks perfect.
Yeah. And so, please come along, get involved. It'll also be a cheap way to go and see a good film. Yeah. I think we're going to run with £3 a ticket. We're going to set up.
It seems that way at the moment.
We'll set up a way to buy tickets soon, but
Yeah,
before the week is out. But
yeah, there's going to be more information on our Facebook group.
Yeah.
So get on the Facebook group, have a little look. We'll
just
put
search
all
the Space Jam
there.
Continuum there. But obviously, we're going to be all over the Twitter doing this as well.
Yeah.
And but yeah, please come down. It'll be a good evening.
Yeah, it will be. It's going to be popcorn. It's going to be nice.
It's going to be nice.
It's going to be just a nice cinema.
It's going to be a nice, cheap night out with two idiots.
Yeah, us
and 300 probably relatively normal people.
Yeah, but if you've got your own idiots, bring them.
Oh yeah, please bring new idiots as well. But yeah, that's about it. More information on that to come, but let's get on with watching some cartoons.
Yeah, let's do that.
I believe that role-playing games are art. Specifically, role-playing games are theatre, which means theatre artists are natural role players.
What sort of hat am I wearing?
It's the important details.
Is it like a tricorn hat?
Yeah, he has got into full theatre mode now.
Right,
this is amazing.
So they want to be entertained. I'm going to give them a show with my iron and my tricorn hat.
Life's a game. The world's our stage. And we're merely role players. Merely Role Players, a podcast where dramatic people play role-playing games. Hosted by me, MJ Starling, in association with Blackshaw Theatre Company. Find us at merelyroleplayers.podbean.com or search your usual podcast app for Merely Role Players.
I have questions.
Yeah, you and me both. I wasn't even saying that into the microphone.
You're still collecting yourself.
You start, because the question, my big question is not until right at the end of the episode.
Okay, so just quick rundown of the episode.
Yeah.
Porky is on the farm. He's producing eggs for the war effort.
Yeah.
Chickens are turning up. Like, they're signing in. It's a job. They're happy to be there.
Yeah.
They're doing their bit. So they're all in there on conveyor belts, going through and laying eggs in the one laying area.
Yeah.
Inefficient, but,
hilarious.
It seemed to be working for him.
Yeah.
And then outside they hear crooning.
Yeah.
And it is Frank Sinatra as a rooster. They're all like, "Oh, Frankie! Oh, Frankie!" And they all leave their nests off the conveyor belts. And they go out and stare dreamy-eyed and drooling at Frank Sinatra, who I cannot stress enough is a rooster. Now,
he's real slender as well.
Yeah,
like he hides behind the mic stand.
But what's weird to me, so it's not the first time we've seen direct parallels of people from our world.
No,
in the Tooniverse, he's a rooster. That's fine.
Yeah.
But basically, Porky deciding he's another crooner to keep the eggs, to keep the chickens around and laying eggs, right? And there's a whole lineup of other crooners, and they're all roosters. Why are crooners in our world? Why is there parallel always a rooster? Like Nelson Eddy was there, Jimmy Durante was there, Al Jolson was there.
Maybe it's just that roosters have the best.
And then Bing Crosby was there, and he was the one who sorted it out. Yeah. And him and Frankie did a good job together, keeping the hens laying. But not just the hens. But we'll get to that. But what I want to know is why they're all roosters.
Maybe it's just that roosters have the best singing voice.
Yeah, maybe. But it's interesting that it's seeked out that way rather than the opposite. So normally they'll pick someone, it'll just be an animal that best resembles a person from our world.
Or there is a pun that can be made.
Or there's a pun.
Yeah.
And here it was just, just to serve, I guess from a cartoonist perspective, just to serve this plot. But from a Portal perspective, it's how has this happened?
Yeah, it is. It is a bit of an odd one. There is a potential that he was just seeking rooster singers, And that's what he got, because he was specifically seeking roosters. That's what his advert said.
Yeah, but...
So it's possible that there is...
Yeah, but they're not just any old... Like, they're not just the best roosters. It was everyone. It's like every prominent crooner of the time turned up.
Yeah, but possibly there is a dog version of them, and there is... So it's possible that
every species gets a
set of crooners.
An Al Jolson.
Yeah, or at least like something...
A subset.
Like something similar too, possibly. I don't know, like, we would need to see more, because it's been a while since we've seen like a variety show.
Okay, and in that case, write down, like, are all crooners roosters?
That's already written down there.
Okay.
I've definitely got that one down there on my unanswered question sheet.
Okay, what else have you got on the unanswered question sheet?
Where's the moon? Is it still there?
Yeah.
That's on there. But the big bit at the end of the episode, Porky lays eggs.
Yeah.
So at the end of the episode, the two crooners are there sat around mountains of eggs, and Porky goes, "Oh, how do you do it, lads?" And they go, "Oh, we'll show you." They start crooning at him. And he just goes, "Oh," and then I don't know, like 50
hundreds of eggs.
Just comes
like
out
in a
of
tower,
him.
like he's propelled upwards by the force of the eggs
So
coming out of him. Now
maybe that is their... Maybe that's the crooner's tomb
that's
power.
what I was going to say.
It's not that Porky can lay or everybody can lay eggs, and
yeah,
they make it happen.
It's that like, I guess eggs until they are like, until they develop and hatch aren't necessarily a specific animal, they're just eggs. And the tune power of any crooning rooster is to make eggs come out of somewhere. Where's it coming out of on Porky?
Oh, I dread to think.
Because
I mean, he didn't seem upset
he's a pig
by it.
and a male pig at that.
Yeah, but he did not seem upset by it.
He doesn't have a, what's it called, a cloaca?
Cloaca.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, he doesn't have a cloaca. But again, he didn't seem upset by it happening. So
No,
I
he
can't
seemed
imagine.
gleeful.
Yeah, unless they're kind of like, I don't know, like moose. So you know how, like, if you get like hair mousse or like something like, or whipped cream, like it's always smaller when it comes out of the hole, but then kind of grows in size, like, you know, inflates.
So do you think a lot
Maybe
of
eggs are
tiny
like
eggs
that.
came out and they puff up to an egg size,
Yeah.
and then they harden up?
Yeah.
Okay, that's good to know.
Yeah, that's how I think it
It
works.
explains why
otherwise,
those chickens looked so happy afterwards. It was just like, oh, that was actually relatively painless experience.
Although there was
Oh,
one
shit,
chicken
yeah.
that, like, when the crooning started, it was mid-lay of quite a lot of eggs, so they were falling. They stopped in mid-air and then shot back up inside.
Because presumably she decided that she needed them to lay in front of Frank Sinatra, who is a rooster.
Yes.
Okay, good to know.
And it seems like an odd way of showing your appreciation, though.
Yeah, but it seemed
Oh,
established.
look how fertile
right?
I am. Bloop, 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 bloop.
It seemed like an established thing.
Yeah. Maybe,
So, you know.
maybe it's kind of like, you know, throwing your underwear at them.
Frank wasn't like, you're being weird.
No, he wasn't. He expected it. But again, like, you know, if that's his tomb power and he's doing it, then, you know, maybe that's just the way.
That's just the way it is. Shall we move on?
Yeah, I think it's best.
So, the next one up would be Duck Soup to Nuts.
Yeah.
It's a Daffy and Porky number from May 27th, 1944. I'm expecting some sort of Marx Brothers sort of job.
They are laying the Porky ones thick and fast now, though.
Yeah, because they really need... They've got to patch up.
Yeah.
Let's watch them try and patch up some more.
Let's do it.
That was very similar.
It was very similar. Like, almost to the point where I was like, did we just watch this one originally? And then I started noticing things that I was like, no, I don't remember that. Like, the first bit was
Although they were, we skipped back through the other one, and they were all there pretty much.
Yeah, but it was things like, so when Daffy goes in to wake up Porky because Porky hasn't got out of bed, like rather than a picture of Petunia up next to his bed, there's just a sign that says "Buy bonds."
Yeah.
So they're still kind of doing the war bit, and some of the shots are from different angles.
Yeah, like it's completely reanimated.
Yeah,
Like it's not like just colorized.
no,
There's also a lot fewer Indians, which I think is because they're hastily pulling it together. It's like we've got to put this Porky in all those old cartoons.
Yeah.
And and they can only get like 8 guys.
yeah, that's it. It's like, oh, we've got they can't Ben Hur it.
Yeah, exactly.
They've just got like thousands of extras.
Yeah. Which they did last time. Like the bit at the
Yes,
start
yeah.
where all the Indians pop up, there's like 40.
Yeah, just
And in
mob
this one
handed.
there's like 8.
Yeah. But no, it was... It's definitely what they're doing. They're definitely just banging Porky, the new Porky, into old episodes.
Yeah.
And going, look, it's always been this Porky. It's always been this guy.
Yeah, I mean, they're getting better at it, like, because that one was like pretty much exactly the
Yeah,
same.
well, Porky's getting better at it. He's getting into his role better now. And maybe it's from spending time doing the things that Porky the Third did that made Porky Porky.
Maybe
it's
they're
that he's
really
allowing
going method with it.
Yeah, maybe he's integrating himself more into the character now because he's living the life.
Yeah.
That Porky is, just as long as they don't eventually let him live the life of the despot.
Yeah,
otherwise
they've got to know when to cut it off.
Yeah,
Like,
they've got to go.
I'm
That's as
hoping-
much experience as
I'm
you need.
hoping someone at the agency has like very, very carefully analysed
Just
the life
mapped it
book
out.
and worked out the point at
Yeah.
which like it needed to stop.
Do you reckon it had something to do with Killer's Kid?
I think
'Cause that
Killer's
was a
Kid
very
was
early-
a definite like point of
It's a
no
big
return.
turning point. It's definitely a turning point.
Do you think he
in
found
Porky's
out?
life,
Because we
wasn't it?
weren't ever sure he found out.
Yeah, I'm thinking possibly he found out and didn't really take to it too well.
Well, I mean that we'll have to wait and see. We'll see
Yeah.
how far this goes
Yeah,
and how much how far back they decide they have to basically delete history.
yeah.
But I don't think apart from that, there's much to take from this episode.
Not really. I mean, like
It's a continuation of the main
everything
theme of this episode of the podcast has been.
Yeah.
It's just like, I see what's going on here.
Yeah, because
And it
other,
continues to go
other
on.
than that, there's nothing to say about it that we haven't said about it from the first time we watched it.
Yeah. Like, there's just not much to say.
No.
So I think like it's a good place to leave it this week. We've
I think so.
had a lot go on.
Yes.
And so thanks for listening to the show.
Yeah, cheers.
We'll try and get some information up about the screening of
Who
Roger
Framed
Rabbit.
Yeah.
Please do
really-
all come down and
really
get
looking forward
involved.
to
Like I'd really like to hash this thing out with a lot of people.
Yeah.
Like, really get some more brains in the room.
That'd be good.
Yeah. But until then, we'll see you next week.
Yeah.
Bye.